Welcome to the Katy Needs a Life official podcast, also known as Katy Needs a Podcast. Eventually, we'll write a book, and it's going to be called Katy Needs a Book. Today, we're going to do something different than we did last time. But before we do, let's take a second and introduce ourselves. My name is Katy May, and I am that Katy.
Does that amp say tour or fuck?
Tour.
Okay.
Should say fuck.
Both are great.
Jake, why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is Jake, and I am here right now.
Cool. Thanks for being here.
I'm Reggie, and I'm not in the same place Jake is, but like a block away from that.
Very close.
But like 2 blocks away from where Katy and David are.
Oh, I'm David. I live like a block away from Jake and 2 blocks away from Reggie, and I'm in the next room from Katy. And that's my location. Is that what we were talking about?
Our exact addresses are...
No. We're going to talk about this last week, I guess. What have you guys been up to?
Working.
Morgan.
I moved all my music shit into this room on Friday. I need to soundproof it a bit better, but it's looking pretty cool. I finally got to hang my fucking front 242 poster that I haven't fucking hung in like 10 years. Pretty stoked about that.
I saw you have like is that Zuzu?
Juju? Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I got that one from when they played at the Strut.
I didn't know they played at the Strut.
Yeah, Problems That Fix Themselves opened that one. It was awesome.
That's crazy.
Was that a Parking Tuna Fest thing, or was that just a show?
I think it was just a show.
Oh man, do you guys remember shows?
Barely. Before everything shut down, what was the last time we played a show?
I don't know.
This is a while.
Maybe last year. Oh God. So the truth comes out. I can't remember.
I mean, I literally just unwrapped a Starburst and put the wrapper in my mouth like right before this. So you can't be doing any worse than me.
Yeah.
Challenge accepted. What do you think the best show was that any of you ever played?
Honestly, I'm gonna say it was. I want to say it was like 2008. My friend Matt and I used to have this like kind of weird folk project called Holy Hounds, and we played a show at Mac's Bar with Fake Problems and Frank Turner. Matt and I have both been really big like Million Dead and Frank Turner fans since we were both in high school, and it was just like it was awesome because he just played like solo up on like that little dinky stage by himself, and like, oh my god, that man is just the sweetest man in the world.
I played on the deck of a battleship once.
Best show, I don't know. But in terms of one of the biggest shows we played, the way I'm thinking about it is like the biggest shows we've played in which we like reached new people that seemed to enjoy it. We played with Jim Blossoms at Bell's. It was supposed to be outside, had never played outside before at Bell's. It was like a torrential downpour that day, so they moved everybody inside, so it was like completely jam-packed. And there were a lot of very drunk people, and they seemed to very much like our music. So that was certainly one of my favorites. Yeah, I was very happy we got to play that. That was exciting.
I feel like we've been asked to play really weird shows consistently for all of time. Probably the biggest show that we played would be the one with the Electric Six at Bell's.
I wanted to go to that one. I don't remember why I couldn't. I feel like my band had a show that day too or something, but I was excited for you guys for that one.
Okay, so like they played in Austin like a day or two later, and they went to the Yellow Jacket where my brother was working, and apparently the guitarist of the Electric Six watched us play, and he doesn't do that for other bands, my brother said. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. Did he think we were good? And he was like, he just said he watched you. So.
I just sat there while it happened to me.
Well, that's not a negative.
Yeah,
Right?
it's a statement, and that's all that we were ever looking to make. Have there been any shows or movies that you've seen this last week that were notable?
I finally watched The Boys.
Yeah.
Nice.
Everybody's
Show's
been talking
great.
about that. David watched it when I was asleep because I'm not a big fan of superhero stuff, except for the Umbrella Academy.
I need to watch. I haven't got to that yet because I'm on season 2 of the OC right now. Shit's getting real. It was funny. Like every time an episode comes on, like if Hannah leaves the room, I'll be like, I can tell you what happens. Like I don't even have to watch it. I can't for the life of me remember where the hell I put my phone down, but like I can remember the whole synopsis of an episode of the OC just at any given point.
You're like one of those kids that's like so good at Guitar Hero that they face away from the screen and they fucking nail it.
Oh god, I am no good at Guitar Hero.
No, me neither.
I think that's one of those games that if you play guitar, you probably suck at.
Before Guitar Hero, there was like this PC game that was starring Aerosmith, and they gave you this like huge like pick that you were meant to hit on like a baseball bat or a tennis racket or something in time with the music, but there was like a delay and the entire thing was impossible and unworkable. You just got stuck at the club at their like cover band gig.
See, before Guitar Hero, I got into games like Parappa the Rappa and Jamalami.
Oh, Parappa the Rappa is awesome. It's kind of repetitive in that sense, but I don't know. I liked it.
Yeah, it was kind of hard too, because like in Jamalami, I was like golden up until I got to the firehouse scene, and then I just couldn't save all those little dogs from the fire.
I'm just like pretty terrible at any of those like games that require like hitting a button in time for some damn reason. It's kind of like when I played Little League as a kid and like I'd get hit by the ball and then swing my bat.
Oh no.
It was funny one time there was like one game I played Little League that like the coach for some reason decided like it would be a good idea to throw me on as catcher for an inning. And like every time the pitcher threw the ball, my ass just dove out of the way.
They used to cycle me around in Little League, like, too. It was always like, I was out in the field, but I wouldn't, like, ever stop the ball with my glove. I would just stop it with my foot, and apparently you're not supposed to do that. And then they put me on pitcher for, like, a game, and it didn't work out well. So, yeah, it was baseball. Right field.
I played like out, like, left or right field most of the time.
I played softball for one season, and I also had to play the outfield. Do you feel like there's kind of a theme here?
Yeah. We're going to learn instruments, damn it.
Outfield is for the not actual sports types. It's like, all right, yeah, you guys can just go stand out there. If the ball gets to you, then just throw back. Half the time I just zone out because, you know, what else do you do in the field?
Yeah, you can't talk to people like soccer. There's always people around you that you can have conversations with in soccer.
I used to play basketball, and I played for like 8 years, and I was only really like on for half of one season right in the middle. And I remember the game that I played where it was like, wow, Katie's like on today. My coach was like fighting for me to be in every period. And then the other coach was like, you can't do that. She can't play more than a few periods. And my little coach got like all up in his face. And then it went back to me just letting the team down and not being very good. It's like they'd pass me the ball and I'd be like, I have to be the hero and take the shot. You know, you don't have to be a hero.
Don't have to be a hero.
Pass the ball. Moving on. So this week I started bringing Zorro to work with me, and I brought a toy that we could play fetch with. Zorro doesn't get fetch. I throw it and then he goes and he gets it and he gets about like 6 feet away from me. But he won't bring it back to me all the way. And he gets really mad when I try to take it and then throw it again.
You're just throwing his shit for no reason. He doesn't understand the game. He just sees you pick up his things and throw them.
I always kind of feel that's what's going on in Buddha's head when we do that. Because like I'll throw it, he'll run after it, and then I'll come back and bring it to me, and then I'll like do this like 2 or 3 more times, and then like I'll throw it once, and then he just looks up at me like, what the fuck, man?
I keep bringing it back to you, and you keep acting like you don't want it, but then you tell me to go get it and bring it to you.
Mixed signals.
They said it would be easy to raise a dog.
They lied.
They
From the
lied.
dead.
Okay, one last book and I guess podcast recommendation. I'm reading The Last Book on the Left by the creators of Last Podcast on the Left, and it's all about notorious serial killers. I like that. I don't know why, but it's a pretty good book. It's a lot more graphic than the podcast I'm used to listening to, so I might have to check out the actual podcast this week.
The cat is clawing canvas. Stop clawing canvas.
Oh.
Get down.
Hey,
Can you hear
is that my backpack?
No, that's like my drum hardware case.
Why don't you pick her up and show her to everybody? She's like in the kitchen now. You had to go all the way across the apartment to get her.
Here's this cat.
Oh, hi.
What a cat.
Hi.
She's kind of just like a time bomb that's made out of knives. It's really frightening.
So it's kind of like a pipe bomb. Just stuff a bunch of nails in there.
Yeah.
David will be petting her, and then she'll do this with her claws, and I have to be like, put down the weapons!
She's kind of snapped. She'll come up and sniff me a bit and then just bite like hard. And I don't understand her deal. I'm pretty sure she's feral, kind of. I've seen her rub on people's legs, and when they bend down to pet her, she climbs them to get to their face. Like, it's pretty spooky. I don't know if she could do it now. She's pretty fat, but she used to be able to.
She's fat because she's mean, and she's mean because she's fat.
It's kind of like I can't hear because I listen to loud music, but I listen to loud music because I can't hear.
Yeah. I feel you. My ears are ringing now.
But that's like part of the reason that I miss shows and stuff is because I could totally live the rest of my life without ever being covered in another person's sweat or humidity. And I get really nervous in big groups of people and stuff. So sometimes basement shows make me nervous in big crowded venues. But I miss the loud.
I just miss being exposed to new music constantly. Since it was my job, it was I was at 4 or 5 shows a week often, and I would often not know who was playing. So it was just kind of this perpetual, I would hear something new, and I would also be able to affect it and influence it on the board and stuff. So it was interesting and a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've been having to rely on Spotify to find new stuff lately, and it's not bad. It's not the same.
No.
I'd much rather, see a new band live and be like, holy shit, that was incredible. Okay, I'm going to find you and I'm going to follow you now. So I can listen to more of that.
Yeah.
And now it's cool. I heard this new band. I really like this. I wonder if I'll ever be able to get to see them live.
Oh my God. Yeah. I really miss playing shows. I super do not miss booking them.
Oh, fair. Yeah.
That's been nice at least. But
And you've been writing like crazy. Didn't you say that you have 30 new songs?
So, well, since we recorded the last record, I've been keeping a tally of just the new songs sitting around. So some of them are ones, I wrote before y'all joined Little Ghosts, and with those, and I've probably written 10 or 12 since all this started, but I've got 25 as of the other day that I've just written since the last record came out. But it's been weird because before the quarantine and everything, you write songs, but sometimes you just don't feel all that confident about them. I think for me, anytime I'd sit down to write a song or just sit and play my guitar or, do anything that as a musician you should feel good about doing, I'd feel guilty because I'm not working on booking or trying to design a shirt or something like that. It's this weird anxiety that I always feel being a musician that was kind of ruining playing music for me that has faded away in the last couple months. So the songs that I've written lately are just I have a feeling and I want to write a song and I just do it because what else am I going to do? And I feel a lot more confident in them.
I did three Sad Randy albums, but I think that combined is only 30 minutes of music. But for like Katy Needs a Life type stuff, I only wrote Listerine. And then I have like a couple little lines and stuff, but I feel so apathetic about playing and stuff. I don't know what it is, because when I sit down and I actually try to like write stuff, it's very on the nose. And
Yeah.
it really was how I wrote things forever, but for some reason it's just bothering me now. I don't know.
I think you get to a certain point where you probably have written like hundreds of songs. I've written hundreds of songs. And at a certain point, like you get so used to your style of music that you're like, you do not feel satisfied with something you would have written 7-8 years ago. It just feels for me, it just feels kind of lazy, which I don't know if that, I'm probably wrong. I mean, I know as far as the music I listen to, I appreciate simpler music, but when it comes to writing it, it's like, it just feels like you're not doing enough.
I don't even know how to describe the songwriting process during quarantine, because, like, you've written 12 to 15 new songs. I've written like a handful of really short songs, and then one that has vocals. Reggi's written new music too. But like, there have been literally hundreds of albums that have come out since lockdown started. It seems like people are a lot more willing to share their content.
For me, it's been weird because it's like, okay, it's just me writing parts, and it's like, man, I kind of just miss the camaraderie of like playing with you guys and like having more than one brain to be like, that part's cool, or like, what if you did this? And like, just have ideas that I don't necessarily have when I'm like working on stuff myself.
I really miss playing music with you guys. I mean, like, for Katy Needs a Life and Jake Simmons and The Little Ghost, I really miss it, because when you're playing a song together as a cohesive thing, there's this energy that flows in that group, and it's just such a strong energy.
And it's really hard to like just get that playing by yourself.
Oh yeah. That's one thing that's like kind of driving me crazy about, like, I have this good handful of new songs, but like, who the fuck knows when I'm gonna get to hear them fully, realized and fleshed out. Some of them I've been sitting on for 2 years. It's a new song, but it's 2 years old. It's been untouched by the band, and for all of them, it's driving me crazy because I can hear what I want it to sound like when I'm playing it, but you just can't achieve it by yourself in a lot of cases.
It's just like, it's always so hard to find a group of musicians that's so cohesive together and that actually like each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's just go through and list all of the ways that the scene has changed since COVID.
Well, there's not shows anymore. That's a big doozy.
The scene is canceled.
See?
It's kind of neat seeing like how people have been trying to get around that, though, doing like live streams and stuff. I feel like it works a lot better with certain things than it does others. Like full bands is a little trickier to manage because, miking everything and getting everything to sound good and not just having like the room mic.
In the same breath, watching DJs is very boring.
It's always just some shitty, like, slightly overhead view with party lights, and they're just standing there bobbing their heads. Yeah, DJs on live streams. That is fun.
It's been super cool because it's brought the musicians into the spotlight where people will forget about artists. In this pandemic, there have been a lot of job markets that have been kind of overlooked, and musicians were lucky enough to be part of like gig workers and stuff, but there was a second there where it's like, seriously, what are we going to do? And the virtual shows allowed people to donate money directly to the musician.
I did a live stream a couple weeks ago to raise money for Kalamazoo Loaves and Fishes and Black Lives Matter. It made almost like $500. I was so shocked. You don't think you can raise that kind of money just on your Facebook or Instagram or something, but we can.
Oh, I feel like that's another thing with doing the live streams and stuff too, is that it's like with actual shows, you kind of have to be there on time or you missed it. Whereas with like live streams, like you might miss it like while it's happening, but you can always go back and watch it. You can like, that's still an option. That's kind of neat. It'd be cool like once like shows start happening again, like to keep that going. Maybe not like as much as we have been doing it.
My favorite thing that I've seen with live streaming, as far as, you know, the people that I know that are interactive, it's like people that would never interact otherwise in real life that I know, you know, like my aunt and one of my friends from Chicago or something. It's nice to see that. And, you know, it would never happen otherwise.
Oh yeah. And that's that's another thing with like, you can get a lot more people because you're not just playing in Kalamazoo, or you're not just playing in like Chicago or something. Like on the internet, it doesn't matter really where you're playing, which is wild.
I will say for the virtual shows, the one thing that sucks about the playback is that I can watch the playback. It's so great for the followers to be able to watch the show over and over again. And I feel like when people are donating and stuff, they should be able to watch it forever. But I rewatch it, and it's very different. Because, like, when we play shows and I make mistakes, I'm so, like, in the moment that I don't notice. And then I get off stage and people are like, that was such a great show. And I just live with the idea that that was such a great show. Then I play on Facebook Live and I'm like, wow, everybody lied to me.
I totally get that.
Because it's like, wow, this is sloppy. I hate every song I've written.
Yeah.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Yeah, there's something not so great sometimes about being able to go back and watch every mistake you've made.
I thought about doing a live stream video at one point, and then I was like, no, because I have this knack for forgetting the words to songs I wrote.
You can always hide like a notebook out of sight with a live stream.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I have done that, yeah. I think a lot of people would like to see you do a live stream.
Yeah, I would pay money to you directly.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I'll throw quarters through your window.
Throw quarters through the window, and that's how you get AC.
Air change.
You just gotta, I think you just jam the quarters in the back of the AC, and then they just shoot out the front, right?
It converts them into bills, too. It just shoots out bills in the front.
It's like a reverse change machine.
It just reminds me.
What does a 10-cent bill look like?
It's just like the edge of a dollar bill.
Yeah.
So I guess specifically in our hometown of Kalamazoo, we live in a music town. There have been points in our immediate history where there were like 12 house venues. This last year, there were probably 6 or 7. And then there's a lot of venues that play the range of music. You know, I doubt that a lot of that will come back.
I personally think I think the venues will be a while to come back, but I think houses, I don't think they'll spring back before it's safe, but like once it is safer, I think houses are probably the first things that are going to start getting shows.
Some houses will pop up before it's safe.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be the specific house venues we know now, but I think people will probably get fed up and, you know, just want to go to a show and put one on.
So that's one thing I've always felt about this community. It's like you have this many musicians in a small place and only so many venues, you know, like it's pretty much inevitable that house shows will happen.
Yeah. I remember the first time that we were walking down the street and I heard music coming from one of the house venues, because like it's a band that lives there and stuff. Their house was shaking and I was like, oh my God, it's not dead.
Shit, I feel like one of my neighbors was like either jamming or like practicing or something the other day, and I loved it. I just heard like guitar from outside and I was like, yes.
Shred!
I think specifically on our street, there's a couple people probably every week that just go ham.
Oh, yeah.
There's a couple drummers on the street. There's probably like 7 guitarists because everybody plays guitar.
I play guitar too.
I play guitar too.
All 4 of us. Guitars.
Y'all play drums too.
I play drums.
I play drums too.
I played drums in a Christian band one time.
There's a lot about that is shocking to me.
Also, that's when I learned, don't play fucking drums in cowboy boots. It does not work. But I looked badass.
I want to see this so badly.
What were your initial reactions when you found out that everything was going to be closed down? Because, like, Jake, you had a tour planned out and everything.
Yeah. Immediately, I was happy I did not have to book the tour. But, I mean, there's a handful of shows that we had booked that I was just hoping. There was like one at the end of April and a couple in May that I was hoping we weren't going to have to cancel because I was very excited for those shows and the bands we were going to play with. So that was a bummer. And I also felt like we were starting to work on new material in our other band. And I just, it sucked to have to grind to a halt like that. But it's been nice to lean into the other side of things a little bit.
I mean, just shows in general, bummed because I like going to shows. I like playing shows. Music is like one of the 3 things I like enjoy most. It's cool because like I have several of my friends like have released stuff since the pandemic started, and it's been cool just like being able to like support that and like have like that at least to listen to and everything. Mountain Dew. Specifically Diet Mountain Dew.
We're not looking for any type of sponsorship or anything, but...
I don't have a drink.
You don't have a drink?
No, I'm dying.
Here, I'll toss you this one.
Yeah.
Do you want to go...
Oh, that would have been a disaster.
Let's work that out for next week, please. Next week, you'll have like a rock and rye or something and throw it to David, and he'll catch a Mountain Dew.
What was the question?
What was your initial... I'm not going to repeat it one more.
Oh.
What was your initial reaction to shows not happening anymore?
I don't know. I had to find another job, but I found one, so it's okay. But yeah, it's the sound gigs dried up a lot, needless to say.
Yeah. That sucks for you specifically. I mean, that's like everything you do.
Yeah.
But, it'll come back, hopefully, so.
I didn't think about it until, we were without shows, but like band practice and shows are damn near all I do socially.
Same.
It's just like my whole social life is just, I mean, obviously everyone's is, but with that one thing falling
like what do you
off,
do? Call people?
with it goes my social life. Yeah, no thanks. Call people on the phone, gross.
Oh god. when my phone rings, I just get this feeling of existential dread.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't matter who's calling me.
Nope.
I could be expecting the call and be like,
Oh, it's worse when you're expecting it. So much worse.
I don't even know. Should we even keep talking about the scene with COVID? It's so depressing. I was going to be like, do you guys know of any controversial shows? And it's like, yeah, we all know about at least one that's like...
Oh, like that one with Smash Mouth and Trapped and stuff?
Yeah, what the hell?
I actually don't know about that one. I heard about the one with Static X in Wisconsin, Empowerman 5000.
Oh man, that's a show I would go to.
I think was it the same one? I thought it was all of the weird. Well, I guess there's.
I
know I should shit talk Smash Mouth on a podcast, but I don't. It's like all of the bad bands are on one thing, and I don't.
Oh,
it's
jeez.
very weird.
Hey, I like Static X.
Okay, well, Jake, you like wrestling and surprising people owning furniture companies. Do you know about the Billy Corgan Furniture Company?
I know about Billy Corgan's wrestling promotion. I don't know about his furniture company.
Well, he also owns a furniture company, and he cross-promotes them, so he has these commercials where Billy Corgan's getting body slammed by wrestlers on tables like that he built. And he's like, that's a quality piece of furniture.
Oh my God. That is everything I need in entertainment.
I wonder if we could bring him in for an interview on our next podcast. Billy, if you're listening, we want to talk to you.
Billiam, even.
I do love Smashing Pumpkins. I don't know.
Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness was like one of the things that got me into wanting to play guitar.
Yeah, same. That and Siamese Dream, yeah. Those were like, I learned how to play drums by just sitting down and repeatedly going through all of Jimmy Chamberlain's drum fills.
Oh yeah, I'd sit in my room like listening to Smashing Pumpkins, like listening to Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness or Siamese Dream a lot, and just like learning guitar parts, because that's what I did a lot in high school, was like listen to music and just try learning it by ear and stuff.
I gave a speech in speech class on how to play cherub rock and guitar.
That doesn't sound like a very entertaining speech to like.
It wasn't. No, not by any stretch of the imagination. It's like, these are octaves and these are low notes. Here's how you play it. But tune to E flat. That's the secret of the Smashing Pumpkins.
Was it Tonight that has the tribute to?
Oh yeah, Voyage to the Moon.
That's the one.
The silent film, yeah. The video for that was like, I remember that winning like a bunch of awards on like the Video Music Awards that year.
There were so many guitar tracks on that album. Like, it was, every guitar track is mic'd multiple times and recorded multiple times. I remember like Butch Vig used to go onto random internet forums and do like an Ask Me Anything about the Smashing Pumpkins recording, and it was just...
I saw the stems of a Billie Eilish song this week, and like, props to her for having the vocal range that she does and the ear for the harmonies that she does.
Oh yeah, no, it's incredible. There's some of her songs where it's literally like a bass line, like a drum beat, and then just vocal harmonies, and it's amazing. Like, I love her so much. Like, she's real good.
Billie Eilish, if you're listening, you are
invited to come on our podcast.
Hit us up. katyneedsalife@outlook.com.
Don't forget to click subscribe.
And ring the bell.
Smash that scribe.
I think that Billy Corgan and Billie Eilish, if we just brought them on together.
Yeah, that's, I think, where it should go. See what they have to say to each other, and we'll just kind of take the back seat.
If any famous Billy would like to bring us on tour, we're also open. Billy Joe Armstrong, Billie Eilish.
Billy Crystal, the offer is extended to you too. You know, I don't like superhero movies at all.
Oh, no.
I like watching superhero movies once, but I don't like the X-Men at all.
Oh, God.
What is that exclamation of? Is that offensive?
I'm deciding currently. I feel extravagantly about X-Men.
Do you remember that movie Sucker Punch, and how in the ads it made it seem like it was going to be an awesome superhero movie, but then it wasn't?
I watched that movie last week, and it's definitely different watching it like 10 years after the fact. But I really like the soundtrack to it.
You were speaking about watching movies after the fact. I watched Weird Science today. That is a problematic movie as hell. That is bad. It is a bad, like, there's a lot of stuff in that movie that is not okay.
I mean, the opening song's great.
Weird Science.
Yeah. To be 100% honest, though, there's a lot of problematic things in 80s movies, and there's a lot of like problematic things in just like movies from the past. I feel like especially like 70s and 80s movies, there was a lot of like
Porky's.
Really, oh yeah.
Well, like the 70s were easily. What the hell is that sound? Who did that?
Was it like a squeaking?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's my the floor above me. Whenever anybody's walking around, it's like squeak, squeak.
It sounded like toots. I'm thinking that's why Katie said something, because she heard something that sounded like a toot and was like, there's a toot.
It's happening now. It was actually farts from my butt.
Oh my God. I don't think that movies were not problematic up until very recently. Even the movies that we grew up on that were like kids movies, like Man of the House is problematic.
Oh yeah, there's like a lot
I
of
haven't thought about Man of the House for so long.
well, there's like a lot of like blatant like homophobia in a lot of like 80s and 90s movies. Like,
Oh yeah.
I didn't really realize it, at the time because I was like a kid growing up on these movies. But going back and watching some of them, it's like, oh, oof.
Yeah.
I've been doing like watch along things with other friends. I'm sorry, like other, who I
Better-
can't, who I don't do
better
podcasts
Better friends, we
with.
get it. It's better friends.
Just people that, people who are also friends that I don't play music with. Like we've watched Can't Hardly Wait, Clueless, and what's the cheerleader movie?
Bring it
For
on.
every one of
She's
them,
all that
there's
is
been like
problematic.
several points at the movie where I just cringe because I'm like, oh my God.
Well, that was. Do you remember the climactic scene in Weird Science?
I haven't seen Weird Science
It's-
since I was a child. I don't
It's
remember.
Okay.
When the bikers come in and they're challenging him, their big heroic moment to stand up to them, they turn to one of the female bikers and like call her a derogatory term, and then turn to one of the males and call him a homophobic slur, and that's his big like "fuck you, you're a," whatever. But it's there's a lot of scenes in that movie. I mean, they make a woman to fulfill their sexual desires,
The thing, the programming I watch most is wrestling, so I'm very used to problematic material. Not so much like current wrestling, but like anything from like the '90s or before, a little bit after. Like it's got some pretty fucked up stuff.
I'm going to put this last question out there, and then we'll get into our advice column. What kind of superpowers would you want, and how could those superpowers, in turn, save the music scene?
My buddy John, we used to talk about this a lot, and his was always if he had any superpower, he would like the ability to shoot an oil slick out of his chest.
like a squid. Is that...
Yeah, like he could just ink out of his chest. If he's got to run away from somebody, he can turn around and ink the ground, and they slip down and fall.
Seems like you're setting the bar kind of low. Like any superpower, ink flicks.
After hearing that, I felt like it was pointless to ever try to come up with something to top it. So I'm going to stick with John's idea of shooting an oil slick out of my chest.
Okay, but don't you feel like that would slow you down to have to turn around and shoot it out of your chest?
I do not.
You shoot it out of your butt. You get both your chest and your butt, so you get both your bases covered.
Yeah, you would kind of have to run backwards to make an oil slick. So
Yeah, but with Reggie's fix for that, you'd have to run around pantsless everywhere.
Yeah, I mean,
Otherwise, it would just look like your superpower is pooping your pants.
yeah, you'll just be ruining good pairs of pants.
no, you just get assless chaps, dude.
All right, Reggie, what would your superpower be?
I know this is gonna sound basic. Telekinesis.
Nothing sounds basic about telekinesis.
Well, true. See, the fun thing about telekinesis is like, oh, van's broke down. Guess what? I can still move it with my mind. It's like flight, but like you can also make other things fly too. It's like, screw this. I'm gonna lift up my whole house and we're going that way.
I feel like people would take advantage of that though. Like somebody would be like, "Come on, like, could you just get the remote? All you have to do is think about it, or could you hand me those chips?" Or, you would be asked to move things with your brain a lot.
I mean, I could do my job without using my hands. I could just be looking at my phone, just doing my job. Just like, cool, shirts are getting printed. I'm just looking at Instagram.
I'm with David, though. You know how many people ask me to help them move because I have an element?
With great power comes great responsibility.
When someone realizes you own a truck or a van, that is your superpower.
The trick is to never have your van plated and insured. My van is forever sitting in a parking lot somewhere waiting for me to make it legal.
Love that you have an illegal van sitting somewhere.
All right, David, what's your superpower?
Can I have the power to manifest things? Like,
That's a 3D printer.
Or in Star Trek terms, a replicator.
Yeah, no, that's fine. You can do whatever you want. It's just obsolete now because of 3D printers.
yeah, 3D printers kind of fucked my whole game up.
Oh, can I change my superpower? Okay, I wish I had the superpower where I could eat anything I wanted and my body'd be fine about it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Dude, yeah, I'm changing mine to that.
It's like, sweet, I can eat a burrito and not get gas. This is awesome.
Yeah.
So the entire group of Katy Needs a Life has changed their answers to, we just wish we had proper digestive systems.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Okay,
Oh my.
I think that we've talked quite a bit today. It's been a very long discussion so far. So let's move on to the last segment, unsolicited advice.
I can start. My advice would be, if ever you're doing a podcast and the person running the podcast tells you to think of advice for a segment each week, make sure you think of advice for that segment before you're filming the podcast. Otherwise, you'll feel very stupid in your new Ramones shirt. And then you'll throw to David.
Always remember to check your motor oil.
Dude, that's very legit. I've blown up so many vehicles.
Like in an action movie?
Okay, my advice, if you're going to buy 2 20-ounce Red Bulls from Circle K, get a bag. Trust me on this.
I'm going to give you my advice, but before I do, I just want to say thank you, everyone, for tuning in and giving us a chance today and listening to the bullshit that came out of our mouths. It wasn't bullshit, you know? I think we had a good time.
Yeah, I think that's it's a little...
The shit comes out of my
it's a little
butt.
harsh.
It doesn't come out of my mouth. It comes out of my butt.
Ah.
Also, why it's bullshit and not human shit, I'm still not sure. I should probably see a doctor.
Medical marvel.
He has the shit of a bull, but the body of a man.
Thank you for tuning in this week and giving us a chance. If there's anything you want us to talk about or any advice that you want us to give you, feel free to email us at katyneedsalife@outlook.com. Here's my advice. It's the same every week, and it's going to be that way forever. Be rad, stay cool, and always do the right thing. If you make mistakes, that's fine. We all make mistakes. Anyway, thanks for tuning in to Katy Needs a Podcast, the official Katy Needs a Life podcast. We love you.
Hail Satan! Or not.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Hail whatever you wish.
Dogs are cool too. Don't know where that came from. Like and subscribe.
Smash that stride.
Ring the bell.
Bye, love you, bud.
Love you guys.
Love you too, bye.